Welcome to the 313 Podcast, the illest podcast on YouTube. Welcome to the 313 Podcast, the illest podcast on YouTube. We got Sofia in the building.
Yes, sir.
We got one with George.
Hello, man.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Pretty
I'm
good.
doing pretty good.
The first podcast of 2020, and we got a special guest today by the name of Sofia.
Yep. I run an online magazine, Blame the Magazine. I've been running it for roughly almost a year. But yeah, that's what I'd be doing.
It's called Blame the Magazine.
Blame the Magazine. Yeah. Don't blame me, blame the magazine.
Uh-oh.
If some shit goes down, you know not to blame me.
Yeah. So when did you start? How long have you been?
I think I started April 2019. It really maybe a year. And I've gone through a transition of websites, so it's kind of hard to say, but officially started April 2019.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Well, what inspired you to do it?
I think, inspiration-wise, I think, definitely, just the people that I was surrounding myself with at the time. Because, when you're in high school, it's, you're just, stuck in this little world, Because you guys have gone through high school. It's, this little world. College is a little world, too. And anything that you, that you're spending, a lot of time in is, a little world. Mm-hmm. So, I was just on my little world shit. I was just, I can cuss, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh. All right. Yeah. So I was just on my little high school world, and I think I was a junior, and I had been doing journalism for about 3 years, maybe, 2 or 3 years. I did journalism for most of my high school career, and I was doing I was just posting on the school website, and at the time I was damn, I just have 1 year left. And I was what the fuck am I gonna do after high school? I really love writing, and I love meeting people, and I love talking about things that interest me as a person. Mm-hmm. Because I definitely always find myself being a person to find something to talk about. So when it just came down to it, I was just I'm just gonna start my own shit. That's the only way. I could. I tried. Well, it didn't. It wasn't like that. It wasn't an idea. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was me transitioning into the idea of me making my own stuff. So first I tried to reach out to people and be can I get an internship? I got an internship at the Sanger newspaper, and I never went. I never went.
Why?
I went once, and I met with them, and they went over my articles, and it's just not my thing. News. Mm-hmm. I like news. I like reading the news. Sometimes it just pisses me off, though. So I think that I just wanted to go for something more lighthearted, something that you're reading and you're actually enjoying reading.
Yeah. Something that gets the people's attention.
Exactly. And not just that, but imagine reading something and feeling angry and shit.
Yeah.
I would never want someone to read my shit and be angry about it.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was in high school, I definitely wanted to make people angry. I just wanted to really stand out as a journalist. I remember trying to bash on kids that, what is it called, what they do, the student body. I remember trying to bash on those fuckers forever, trying to make a whole article on how they don't do shit and all this stuff. I was really into just these kids talking about oh, the dance, the folklorico dance, the this and that, and just boring shit that I didn't give a fuck about. I honestly, when I just read some of their articles, they were good. They were written beautifully, just very well edited, and the pictures were amazing, but it was just not something that interested me. So at the beginning of my senior year, I met my partner, and he was really into just networking and meeting other people and shit, and just just really like wanting to go for that like creative side of living. Like he didn't want to do a 9 to 5 stuff. He just wanted to like be on some shit. And like I was just so inspired by that. I was like, I want to do something like that, but I don't know what's my calling, like what am I doing, you know? And like just after a while I just came up with the idea of Blame, and it just really stuck with me. And the first time that like I like met up with an artist was kind of like the first time, like it was an accident, honestly. I went to a concert at Strummers, and I had written an article about this artist, and I went to his like concert, and it was actually like everything was like so well like aligned. It was like this dude, and he just randomly like he was at the end of the tour, and he wasn't even like Fresno wasn't even on his tour dates, and then all of a sudden he was just like, oh, I'm gonna go to Fresno like next week. And we're like, oh, okay. So that shit sold out. And then we, like, everyone went. And I remember, like, my friend was like, dude, we have to go. Like, you wrote an article on this guy. Like, you're very passionate about, like, his album and stuff, right? And, like, our goal, like, 100% was to, like, meet this guy. And we show up to the concert, and we stay in line. And then I see the girl that was going to open up for him. Like, the opening act or whatever. And I see her, and like I knew who she was, and then we tweeted her, like my friend and I tweeted her, oh, like we just saw you and shit, and like we didn't want to bother you, but like you're cool. And then I accidentally got out of the I was out like all the way at the front on the concert, and I accidentally got out. And when I got out, I got to meet her, and she was like, and I was like, oh, I do like newspaper, like journalism stuff, like in high school. And she was like, oh, I would love to do something with you. And I was like, oh, me? So, that was like my first article with a person, but it just never went through. Cause, in high school, like you're so like I said, you're like in this little world, and like everyone's like trying to control you, like what you write, everything's monitored by like everyone, like you can't say shit that you want.
Right.
So like at the end of the day, like I was just shut down by like any idea that I had, because I wanted to talk about like hard-hitting shit. Like I wanted to talk about like her journey through depression, and like how she overcame that, and like how she's doing now and stuff like that. And it was just like something that like, you know, they didn't want on their website. Like they didn't think that it was appropriate. And I just kept coming back to it, and it just felt like shit, so I just dropped it. And then one day I think there was this guy from New Zealand, this producer, and I just like mentioned him on my story because he had just came out with an album, and he actually like DM'd me back, and he was like, oh, like I didn't get to see this on time, but like I really appreciate the love and stuff. And I was like, oh, like, you know, I would love to write something about you, like I'm a journalist and shit. And he was like, oh, for sure. And like that's when I was like, okay, like now I got a person that's actually willing to do something with me, and now I just have to build the website and then get this shit done. And that was that.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's like a whole story of like just trying to find like what I wanted to do. And I think like Blame was like definitely like just like a wake up moment for me. Like it was definitely like oh, this is something that I want to do. And maybe like, you know, I don't think that in 10 years like I'm gonna be doing Blame, just because it's probably going to evolve into something else, because I want to keep evolving as a journalist, and I want to keep evolving as a creative. But it's definitely like something that's meaningful to me at the moment. So yeah,
I feel it'll always be meaningful, right? Because from where like it began to where it's leading.
Yeah, I mean, and then just the people that were influencing me at the time, like my teacher, my journalism teacher, shout out Miss Caspian. She was like such a big influence on me. Like she really believed in me, like as a writer. And the thing is that like my first language isn't English. Like I grew up like my mom doesn't even speak English. Like I grew up just speaking Spanish, and then I moved to Fresno, and then that's when I started speaking like English, like actually. So English, like sometimes like I've never liked reading, so it's kind of funny because I don't read but I write. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of contradicting, but I love writing. It's definitely like something that that's like been a big part of my life since I was like a very, very small fetus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That. So you started writing in high school? Is when you noticed that you had a passion for it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, did you guys go to Central?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how when you're a freshman you go to Central West most of the time. Well, I moved I wasn't living in Fresno at the time, and then I moved like halfway through my freshman year, so I had to go to West for like half a semester, and I ended up meeting like one of my best friends. Her name's Nylea, and she was like, we were picking our classes for sophomore year. I remember you know that little paper where they would like show you all the classes, all the electives. Yeah. And she was like, I really want to take journalism. Like, I don't know why, but I want to take journalism. Like, take it with me. Like, I'm scared. Like, take it with me. And I was like, all right, like, I guess. And then we ended up taking like draw and paint, journalism, and like a bunch of classes together that like just to challenge ourselves and to like really like, you know, just see what it's about. Like, that's what high school is about. Like, a lot of people don't realize that, but you're beyond lucky to like have like electives. Like, where I lived, like it was like you do this and this, and like you're out. And like here it's like, oh, you get like to choose all these things, and you get to choose like kind of like a path where like you try out all these things, and like you find what you like. Right. So and yeah, my sophomore year I remember like going into that classroom and just being like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck did I get myself into? And just like I got introduced into like creative writing, which is crazy. It's literally like, I think everyone should be doing this. I love doing it. Even if like you don't like writing, and you basically just like sit down with like a notebook in front of you, right, and a pencil and shit, or like a pen. Or a gel pen. Just kidding. But you basically just sit down and like you time yourself. So like, let's say like you want to start at like 3 minutes, right? Yeah. So you just kind of like, you can either do a topical one, or you can just do like, you know, like a whatever one. So I would most of the time just do like whatever ones, just because like I really like to pick my own brain and like try to find out like what's been bothering me that day, or like what's been going on that day, because I tend to be like really like forgetful. I don't remember anything like a lot of the time, and it's not even like oh, I don't remember, like, no, it's literally like, bitch, I don't remember shit. So I would just kind of go about my day, and literally like I remember like kids sitting next to me, and then just like the point is for you to write for like 3 minutes straight, like nonstop just writing, and your shit burns like afterwards. You'll be like, oh shit. Yeah. But it's worth it, because like you find out a lot about yourself, mostly when you start from the random ones to the topic ones. So basically like you would start from like a random one, and I remember like sitting next to this kid who just like wrote blah 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 for like 3 minutes straight. And it was just like 3 pages of like blah 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 blah. Yeah, but you find a lot about yourself. It's like, it's kind of like, oh, like my day was cool because I did this and this and this, and like this person did this, and like and then the only thing is that you have to kind of be careful with like the shit that you said, because my teacher would like look back and grade them, and if she saw that you called Katie a bitch, then like she would like yeah, so like that wouldn't be like, you wouldn't have like that much, because it's a school setting, you know, she doesn't want you calling Katie a bitch.
You don't have that much freedom.
Exactly. So but now that, you know, like when you're a little bit older and like you get out of high school and you're doing like your own stuff, like it's definitely like, it's therapeutic for me, at least. Like if I'm feeling like shitty, or if I'm like having like a bad day, like I'll just write about it.
So is that like your like stress reliever, basically?
Oh, yeah,
like
definitely.
just writing and writing.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be about an artist or like a musician or anything like that. Like it can just literally be like, oh, I feel like shit and this is why, or like, oh, I'm having like a really fucking good day and I want to remember this like forever. So I'll have like journals and journals full of like just writings. And I remember there was like a time where I was like going through hard shit, and like I knew that like I had like a shitty day, and like I would write about it, and then I would like burn the paper, because I never want to remember that day in my life. But like, you know, like I talked about it, because a lot of the time, like sometimes like I feel like you're like in this like, I don't want to say like lonely state, because you always like, you know, you have your friends and your family and all that, and mostly if you're like
deep thoughts, basically. Yeah,
but sometimes, you know, like sometimes you don't want to share shit with anyone.
Yeah, you just want to keep it to yourself.
Yeah, you just want to keep shit to yourself, and like that's okay. Like you don't have to, you know, it's like a way of keeping things to yourself, but not keeping things to yourself.
I feel like when you write, it's basically like you're basically telling someone, but you're just keeping it to yourself.
Yeah. So it's basically like privacy, but you're also letting that shit go.
Yeah.
So a lot of I know that like a lot of therapists too, like if you don't have money for therapy, by the way, like you can literally write about that shit and just be like, oh shit, like for real, like, and then no one like you can look at the back at that shit and be like, oh damn, like I was on some shit, bro. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like it's like I would say like it's a hobby, but it's also like a really like good like just way of like expressing myself like in any way. Like if I'm really passionate about an artist, or if I'm really like if I'm like truly like feeling like shit, it's just like it helps both ways. So it's like very like it just pampering myself, like just writing.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. Like you just write about stuff, how it goes in your day, and just like remember it. That's tight. Yeah,
but sometimes I'm kind of scared because I'm like, damn, like if I let people into my room,
and someone finds it,
shit, I'm fucked. I'm literally fucked. Like,
damn, it's like
anyone that would find it like would be offended by that 100%.
Yeah, we should have one of those, like, you know how those the journal that has like voice activating, like the little kid one.
Have you seen that video? I think it's in Spanish actually. I think my mom showed it to me. It was like this video where like the little boy is trying to open his like sister's diary. Yeah. Have you seen it? Yeah. And it's like chinga tu madre. Like, the little sister like saying some shit back. I think I've used like the lock ones before, but those ones are shit. You can literally like step on it and like that shit will break. Like, you know, like the ones that little girls are carrying around. Those shit don't work. But you know what really works? Since we're in the new age, like making like a or just like getting like a USB and then like putting that shit in and like just typing and then burn the USB. No, just kidding.
No one ever find it.
No one will ever find this. Yeah, well, I mean, who the fuck thinks of like plugging in a USB? Like who, you know, like I don't know. I think that like you can literally hide that shit like so easily now because it's like new age shit, like it's technology and shit. So yeah, that's where kind of like the writing things comes from. But like the magazine has definitely like I did not expect like any of the shit that I've gotten from the magazine. The magazine has like led me to like studios and like private sessions and just crazy shit that I'm like, oh, I did this, like what? Like I like it's crazy. And like it's taught me a lot, like just like a lot of things. Because
you really basically like you see it starting from nowhere and then you just see it expand and you're just like, wow, I did that. Yeah,
and then also like experience wise, like I've never thought that I'd like gain the experiences that I have now, and like now I know how to like talk to artists and how to like, you know, be straight about my shit. Because a lot of the time when you're starting off, like I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but a lot of the time when you're starting off like something like very small, you know, people hit you up like, hey, like let me get in your podcast, like,
oh yeah,
shut up,
shut a lot of people,
shut up. Like no offense. So like that type of thing, like, you know, like not giving attention to those type of people, because like I always wanted to be cool with everyone and be like, oh yeah, for sure, like send me your links, like send me this and I'll let you know, you know. And then like people going around and being like, oh, Blame the Magazine told me that they're gonna make an article about me, like blocked. So that, and then I've learned a lot about like simps and like yes man. Like you will forever have that, like people just being like, oh, your shit is amazing, like yeah, like I put work in it, but like I know that it's like not as much like as you put it out to be. Like it's just a hobby, you know. Like I know that like I'm not the greatest like writer, and sometimes like I be looking back at my writings, I'd be like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? So yeah, I feel like that, and then just that's mostly like online, but like in person, shit is crazy. Like you have to be like, I feel like a lot of the time people don't take your shit seriously because you're so small. But they don't realize that you're putting your time and effort into that shit, you know. Like right now you guys could be sleeping or like, I don't know, watching a movie or something, like doing something, but you guys are like choosing to do this, you know. So that's kind of like the magazine. Like I choose to do that, and I choose to spend my time like that. I work like all the time, like, and I choose to use my free days as for the magazine. And that's like something that's like, it's a sacrifice, because it's like it's a sacrifice, but it's like also like something that I like to do. And like it just kind of feels like a slap in the face when people don't take your shit seriously, because you're like, oh, you're over here like, oh, like this is gonna be so cool, and you have like an idea of this, and then by the time that like you're there, you're like, this shit sucks. Like, if you don't know how to work with people, and like you like meeting like different people that like, you have deadlines. Well, I do. At least, like, I used to be, like, super loose with that shit. Like, oh, no, like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to have a deadline. But, consistency is definitely, like, a key. And, like, I'm very proud of, like, how consistent I am. Says after, I say after, like, I didn't post last week. But I'm very consistent normally. Normally, I'm very consistent. But, I mean, it's not like, oh, I didn't post because I didn't feel like it. It's like, I didn't post because I was, like, working my ass off, like, shooting with someone, or, like, like doing something, like, I wasn't on some bullshit. So, fuck, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, like, people, like, a lot of the time, people don't take your shit seriously. Like, I remember, like, working with people, like, generally that, like, just didn't, like, would back up my projects that I've been working on for, like, weeks or, like, months, or, and it doesn't matter, like, how long I've been working with them, but, like, respecting, like, the fact that I'm, like, I want to get this by this date, and you're, like, backing me up. It's, like, whoa. Like, I did not just spend weeks trying to, like, get all this done, or like days trying to, or like however much you spend done, because time is time, and I feel like a lot of the time, like, since sometimes like you're very young, and like we're pretty young, and you feel like you have like so much time, but that's like that's not it. Like you have time, but like you might as well like spend it like right. So I feel like that about a lot of things, and like sometimes like it's just kind of like, it feels like a slap in the face when people like don't take your shit seriously. Like, I just want to get my shit done. Like, I want to be happy with like my stuff, and like even though sometimes it's stressing, like it's worth it, like all at the end.
Right.
Mostly because like you get that feedback from people being like, oh, like I really like that, or like I really like the way you shot that, or like I really like how you portrayed this person, and like just gratefulness like all over, like not even from the like just the artist, but like from people that fuck with the artist. So that's definitely like something that's it's worth it. Like it's definitely worth it, like in every way.
So every week you try to bring out a new article, or new articles every week?
So the articles are weekly, and then I was trying to do the videos bi-monthly. Right now I only have one video out, and it's almost been a year, and I'm so ashamed of saying that, because I literally have so many videos that I never put out, because I feel like I'm very hard on myself when it comes to like what I want to put out as a magazine. Just because like, like I bought the domain recently, and that shit was like, like that shit was bank. Like it wasn't.
Oh, the name, like Blame the Magazine?
Yeah, so you can literally go on Google and put up BlameTheMagazine.com, and my shit will like pop up. Like on your Safari.
How much you paid for it?
Yeah, I paid like, I think like $200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and for a year, which is not that bad when you really think about it. If I really like, take the time and like effort to like put into that shit, but at the same time, it's kind of like, fuck, like $200 like at once, like it's only like $12 like a month basically, but so the articles are weekly, and it just depends on the artist. So like if I'm working from someone from here, it just really depends on like what they're comfortable with. So like if I wanted to do like an article with you guys, I'll just hit you guys up and be like, hey, like let's do this, and you guys are like, okay, we're down. And then I can be like, all right, we can do this like one of two ways. Like we can do like, well, actually like three. We could do like a video if you're really, really fucking interesting. Like if like I really fuck with someone, like I'll do a video. Well, we can do like an email, like just, I just sent you the questions over, and then you answer them, and then I just write that from there, send it back to you. You say okay, and then I send you an edit that I'm going to post, and then I tell you when I'm going to post it, and then I basically, like, it's mostly me. It's just mostly me. You just, they just basically like answer questions, and they're like, all right, like here you go, and then I just do everything, like the editing, just everything, like everything.
Yeah.
So
Wait, even the video edits, everything you do, all that?
all the video edits that are currently on the Blame Instagram, those are all me. Those are all me and my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those are all me on my phone. Like I just really like computers are cool, but I don't know, like I'm really lazy with like trying to get stuff, like, well, I recently got a hard drive, so it's kind of easier now.
Yeah.
But like back then when I was like, I don't even think I had a computer, like back when I started Blame. I was just like posting at school. I was literally like, I would do everything at school. And I remember like being in journalism class and my teacher being like, bro, like, when are you gonna get this article done? I'm like, yeah, and like posting articles like every week and not being able to give her one like in a month.
Damn.
Yeah, and she would still give me A's. Shout out Miss Caspian again, bro.
She hooked it up.
What an angel, bro. No, she saw the work that I put in, and she was there from the beginning, and yeah, so she really hooked me up, like, when it came to that. But yeah, fuck, I forgot what I was talking about. I literally am so bad at remembering shit. So
it happens to a lot of us.
Yeah, no, I'm literally so bad. Like, I like listening to people, but sometimes like I listen to myself and I'm like, what the fuck am I saying?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what's to come with the magazine?
I don't want to speak too much on it because right now, like, things are kind of shaky with like just like the dates and all that.
Yeah.
But right now we're working like on a really big documentary, and I really, really, really hope that it comes out like 420. Yeah, it was kind of funny because the guys and my boyfriend were the ones that came up with that actual like date, but they just said it, and then I was like, oh, 420, and they were both like, oh shit, that is 420, huh? And I was like, stupid. Yeah, so 420, hopefully a documentary. And then an EP is going to come out with the guys from 1 Hour. They're not really, like, known. I kind of found them on accident. Like I said, like, I'll find someone, and then I'll find someone else on accident, and then I'll find someone else on accident. And it's just kind of like a cycle of, like, just, like, never-ending, like, artists and creatives from here. And it's crazy because, I don't know, it pisses me off, bro. Like, a lot of the time, like, I'll see, like, you know, Fresno Twitter is kind of gross, but people on like on Twitter be like, oh, like, Fresno, like, no shade to like Fresno people, but like Fresno music sucks. You have no idea. Fresno music is the shit. And like, whether it's hip hop, whether it's like R&B, whether it's like whatever the fuck it is, like, people here are talented. You just don't know the right people.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't know the right people, because if you don't fuck with someone that does like a certain thing in Fresno, like music wise or like video wise or art wise, you're not looking hard enough. You don't know like your own community if you don't think that Fresno has talent, because Fresno is like full of talent.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are coming up with the music community.
Yeah.
There's just not enough exposure to sometimes.
Well, you know, I wasn't really into like my business side when I started Blame. I was kind of like whatever, but business and promotion and everything like that is such a big part of like just the upbringing of someone, or the upbringing of anything.
Yeah.
Because when I really put my mind into like just really promoting that shit and like pushing it, that's when I saw results. Like, being like, oh, check out my magazine, and like just flyers everywhere, and like you know, word of mouth, obviously. But social media, like, people don't, like, a lot of the time people don't know how to push themselves on social media, and that's why they don't get the result that they want. And you know what, like, sometimes it's not even like a technical thing, you know, but a lot of the time people just don't know how to do that shit right, or like don't have that presence. And it's okay, you know, like, none of us were like born with presence. Like, I didn't wake up and like have like 500 like followers on Instagram or some shit. Like, you know, you don't grow up like that, or like you're not born like that. But you know, just like connecting with people, and like something that I've learned from like the magazine too, like, I can literally like be on the street and like I can literally go up to someone and be like, hey, like, I don't know, like, oh, I like the way you dress, or like, and you know, like right now with like social media and stuff, like people are like scared to talk to other people.
It's all about communication.
Yeah. And networking. Networking is crazy. Like networking can literally get you anywhere. Like, I don't like just connecting with people and finding like minds is definitely like such a big part of like just like making like a platform for yourself. Like and you don't have to have a big social media presence to have like a huge local presence, you know. You just have to really like be bold and like make yourself like be out there.
How do you fund the magazine? Do you just
fund?
Yeah,
out of my pocket. It's always everything is out of pocket. Like I don't mind it because I think that it's gonna pay off with time. I've had some some opportunities to get sponsorships, but I haven't really taken them just because I don't know, dude. Like I just don't feel like I'm at that level yet. Like I really want to like, you know, make a sponsorship proud. I don't know.
You just want to have that level where you feel like you made it, like
like a really big like confidence level where I'm like I don't think I'm the shit, but like I know that I'm doing something right, you know. And I think that I'm doing something good right now, but I just don't think that I'm at a level where like someone should pay me money for it. Like I'm just doing it for fun, honestly. It's always been for fun, and it's just always been like a passion and like something that I've actually like really really wanted to like grip onto. Because I did stop it for a little bit because the magazine just started as like I told you guys this earlier, but it was literally like a Wix website, and I started that shit for free. And even then, like people, like I was getting like 200 300 reads per like article on Wix. Ew. Excuse me. Like what? So now you know, I was just like, okay, like people are actually like liking what I'm doing, and I have like a shitty website with Wix, and then half of the, like, you know, when you go on your phone, because nobody goes on their computer and goes blame the magazine, like
hey, I did.
Nobody does.
Yeah, I did.
It doesn't look better on the laptop though.
Yeah, it does.
It looks beautiful on the laptop. I'm so proud of how it looks like on the laptop.
Yeah,
it looks really really pretty. But on the phone, it was literally like half of your phone screen was literally like download Wix for free now or some shit. No. And I was like,
I'm trying to read.
Exactly. Imagine like trying to read and I mean like Wix, like download our website, like download our app. I'm like, oh my god, shut up. So like now you can literally just go blamethemagazine.com and like just the website that I don't think I'm like, I think I'm proud of it, but I think like ideally like I don't know, when I was like 12, 13, I grew up with like, this is gonna sound so weird. Okay, I grew up on like Tumblr, right? And like I grew up on Tumblr, and like I remember being 12 or 13 and like listening to like Russian, like European music, and like just really being into like when you go onto someone's vlog and then you just see like all this fire and then like the music starts playing. Like I love that shit. And like ideally like I would love for like my website to just look like a fucking Tumblr vlog, but like on crack. Like I would love that, like just like a bunch of like seizure like shit, like just like colors everywhere, and like, you know, at the beginning, obviously, like when you're reading, like you don't want to see like a bunch of shit like moving and like gifs everywhere. But definitely like I would love to like actually sit down with like a website builder, or like actually like do it myself, because I literally like the first time that I did the website when I was a senior, I sat down, and I remember it was like my Thanksgiving break, sat down on my couch on my fucking ass for 2 weeks and did that shit. Like it took me 2 weeks to like finish it to the point where I was like, okay, like it looks okay. And then when I did this past website, like this really new one, that one took me like a month to do. Damn. That one took me like a month, and all the you know, the cool little characters on it, and like just the overall vibe, it just goes so well together, and I'm so proud of like the way that it looks. And like obviously like if you told me like I would love to have like some pixel shit, like just like it looking like the website is like deteriorating, or like some weird shit, like it's like someone poured acid on the website or something. Like I would love that, but I'm really not at that point yet. I'd love to though. I would really love to, but all the art, all the pictures are taken by me. And then all the art was like from just artists that I've collaborated with. Most of the art is my friend. His name is Mario. He lives in Mexico City, and his shit is crazy. Did you see that little Chinese boy kicking the little other boy?
Yeah, I think I did.
Beautiful art, just like crazy. And he does all that like by hand, and he also does it like on I know. It's literally like something that you would see like a 40-year-old man like making, but this kid is like 20. And like he's making like crazy shit. So like I feel like he really embodied what I wanted my website to look like. And I like the logo. Oh my god. Like I don't think I'll ever like actually get like real sponsors if I have that logo. And I've low-key like I've thought about getting rid of like, you know, the anarchy logo, but I just think it looks so good. It really dope. Like, right? And I remember it was so weird because my friend Sergio and I were like literally like for days and days and days we're just like in class like with this papers and papers of just like us trying to get a logo together, and like cigarettes and like just like rubber duckies and like just bullshit. And like I remember like we never came up with like something that we both liked. And he's really into drawing, like just like little doodling stuff. And one day I was just like, oh, like why don't we just say blame, but then we just put like the little anarchy logo on it. And he was like, oh shit, like that would look cool. And I remember like if I showed you guys the picture that I sent him, it was literally like word art, like all cricket, like all ugly as fuck. And then he sent me back that logo that's on the website, and I was like, damn, like thanks. Yeah. So that was my friend Sergio, and my friend Sergio, he's one of my photographers, and he's also one of my editors. And then my most prominent editor is Dimitri. And Dimitri's like just he's in a punk band, and he loves editing, and he's just like into like, you know, weird shit. And like we were just both like all of us came together and just like made Blame. And it was kind of like all of our thing at the beginning. It was my idea, and then like my friends were kind of like just wanting to like, I guess like
be a part of it. Yeah.
And I thought it was cool, you know, but you just get to a point where like you want to get stuff done, but no, like, you know, you get out of high school and you're in college and you're working and you're just doing all this shit, and then like nobody's schedules aligned ever. And like unless it's like super late at night or like on some weird date, like it's just weird stuff, you know. So I just didn't want to go through that. And also like aligning just dates and like stuff like that with other artists, hard as fuck. It's really hard. Mostly
and that slows down like the process of
definitely. And like that would just frustrate me because, you know, like I wanted to get stuff done like at a timely manner, because, you know, like after a while of just like, imagine if like you guys made like a podcast or like a video and you just sat on it for like months. You keep watching that shit. It's like when you go to the store. I've always like said this shit. Like I think I came up with it myself. Like just one day, you know, when you go to the store and then your mom takes like forever, and you have like this one thing in your hand. Like you have this in your hand. You just have it for the whole time, and like after like a couple like just 30 minutes, 40 minutes pass by, you don't want it anymore. Cause it's like I at least I'm like that. I'll be like, oh shit. I'll put it back because I'm like, bro, like I don't want it anymore. Like I've had it. I've just hold on to it for so long that I just like I don't want it. I don't like it. And like imagine just holding on to like footage and like videos and like just words and like just pages and stuff. Like it's kind of hard to like, you know.
You don't want to release.
Yeah, just to release it and just like 100% like not be critical of yourself. You know, because imagine like just holding on to it, like you just looking at it more and you're like, oh, this sucks, or like, oh, this needs to change and this needs to change. Like, I would rather just like have something done, be proud of it, and then just put it out, and then like never look at it again. Never. I don't think I've ever like read back on like any of my articles other than like, because you know, like I spend so much time with the article. Like I write everything, I edit it, I put it on the website, I reread it, I read it like 100 times, like honestly, over and over and over again. And even then I fuck up, you know, spelling wise and like information wise, like, oh, I'm not 20, I'm 21. Okay, I'll change it, you know, and just like stuff like that. So it's just easier for me, like as a really critical, like creative, to just put it out and then just like not worry about like what, like, because I know that I'm gonna be like super like hard on myself about it. So I'm just like, just put it out and forget about it. Yeah. So yeah, that's been like I think something that I've learned from it, like something like really big. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Like, if anything, if anyone's like trying to start some shit, like just fucking do that shit. Like,
I agree.
Honestly.
I agree. Too many people sit on so much sometimes that they just won't do it. They just say, I want to do it, but sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah, it's like people that want to be like YouTubers and shit.
Yeah.